What is your body made of? Tissues and organs. What are tissues and organs made of? Cells. What are cells made of? Molecules. What are molecules made of? Atoms. What are atoms made of? Subatomic particles. What are subatomic particles made of? Energy. No, they are not made of energy, they are energy. You are one big chunk of energy, and so is everything else. Spirit and mind puts together this energy into the physical shape you are used to seeing. Quantum physics tells us that it is the act of observing an object that causes it to be there where and how we observe it. Energy is the subatomic particles that in turn make up atoms and finally matter. This energy exists as waves spread out over space and time. Only when you exercise observation do these waves become particles localized as a space-time event, a particle at a particular time and place. As soon as you withdraw observation, they become a wave again. So as you see, your observation, your attention to something, and your intention literally creates that thing as a space-time event. This is scientific. In other chapters, we shall see how to focus, concentrate, and guard your attention, intention, and thought to create your reality exactly. No solid object is solid. It is made up of rapidly flashing packets of energy, billions and trillions of packets of energy. They flash in and flash out of that space where the object is. They do not just stay there. So why does a human body or a car look like a solid continuous object when we now know that it is actually a rapidly flashing field of energy? Think of a TV image. When you watch a movie, you see a person walk across the screen smoothly, yet in reality it is just a film reel with 24 slightly different frames a second, so your eyes do not detect the gap between the frames. Even each of those frames is a composition of billions of light photons flashing at the speed of light. That is what your world is, a rapid flash that causes an illusion of being solid and continuous. Once you understand what your world is really, truly, you start to understand its true behavior and nature. You then change your view of it, and with your changed perception, you change your creation of it. This is the first step to wealth. Every single physicist agrees on one thing: subatomic particles. Those energy packets or quanta are not particles in a particular point in space and time like a table or a chair is, but they are a probability that they can exist at various points in space and time. The act of us observing them converts them into a physical particle at a particular point in space and time, and once we withdraw that attention, they become a probability again. Imagine that the chair in your living room is one big subatomic particle. This is how it would act. When you are not in the house and not thinking of your chair, it would vanish and become a probability that can reappear anywhere in your living room or anywhere else in the universe, actually. When you come back home and you think of sitting on a chair in a particular spot in your living room, and you look for a chair at that spot where you wish to sit, it will magically reappear. This is not some fantasy magical story. Subatomic particles behave just like that. The amazing thing is that all matter is composed purely of massive amounts of these particles. Therefore, all matter acts exactly like a large group of subatomic particles would. A chair's being there is a result of us all watching it being there and deciding it to be there. It is not a wholly independent existence. No matter is a wholly independent existence, independent of the observer. As some scientists say, if everyone and everything in the universe stopped looking at the moon and thinking about it, it would not be a physical moon anymore. It would be a probability of existence. The act of observation makes the probability become a definite thing, and all other probabilities of it being elsewhere in the same world a null existence. Continuous attention keeps it that way, producing the illusion of a solid, continuous existence of a physical moon. Physicists have also discovered that quantum particles make decisions. They are powered by intelligence. Not only that, they also know instantly what decisions are being made by other particles anywhere else in the universe. This synchronicity across space and time is instantaneous. They communicate without taking any time or crossing any space. In fact, they also move instantaneous without having to go across space or take time. They can get from point A to B without having to cross the space in between, and point A and B can be in different times. Remember that quantum particles are not particles as you would normally think of a particle. They are not things that are at a particular place and time. They are spread across space and time. So, what is the intelligence that powers them? Well, it is from the mind of the source, God, all that is, proportionately made up of your own individual mind and also the individual minds of the rest of the universe, depending on the subject matter, scope, and strength of will. Think about all this carefully. Think about the fact that everything your eye can see is made up of these amazing particles, which are under your co-control. Think about the scientific facts that now prove that you are at cause or co-cause for everything around you, and that nothing you observe can exist without your observation. All you need to do is choose what you wish to observe, choose it with certainty and consistency, and this will cause the energy field to materialize into that thing over time, depending on your clarity, focus, and certainty. Scientists have discovered that even in the strictest double-blind experiments, their expectations still influence results, and it is impossible to carry out an experiment where there is zero influence from the observer on the results of the experiment. Quantum packets or particles are best defined as probabilities of existence. For example, say you have a quantum packet called Mr. X. Before you ask to speak to Mr. X, he will not exist as a person. He will exist as a potential person. Mr. X will be all over the world at the same time with varying potentials to appear in person in Moscow, New York, Kabul, Tokyo, Sydney, Cape Town, or any other town in the world. Now when you call his name, he will appear where you called him, and at that point the probability of him appearing in any other city will become zero. Then, when you finish your conversation with him, he will vanish again and stop being a localized person, become spread out like a wave, and the probability of appearing anywhere in the world again takes place. That is how a quantum packet called Mr. X would behave. Keep in mind that everything in this universe is made up of quantum packets. Another property of quanta is that they are multidimensional. So in the example of Mr. X above, when Mr. X is a probability, he is multidimensional. When he localizes when we call him, he will become a thing in our four-dimensional world. Our world as we know it is actually four-dimensional, with length, width, height, and time being the dimensions. This is scientific. You now see scientifically that our universe is multidimensional. Although our senses are capable of detecting length, width, height, and time as the only dimensions, yet our souls are also multidimensional. Listen to your soul, your feelings. The physical world is literally made up of ideas and energy. If you ever feel powerless, consider this. Einstein and the other quantum scientists have proven that all physical matter is made up of energy packets that are not bound by space and time. This energy field has no well-defined boundaries. The universe is literally your extended, timeless, and unbound body. Science has also proven that the mind has no boundaries. All minds are connected into one mind field. You are bigger and more powerful than you think you are. So stop sweating the small stuff. You already have it all. It has been said that before you ask, it was already given to you. Science is beginning to prove, through quantum physics, that this is scientifically true. The infinite intelligence and potentiality at the quantum level, the level that makes up all that is around us, and our inherent abilities to influence this field is what gives us the having it all. We are beginning to know this on a larger scale, scientifically as well as spiritually. You already have all the riches beyond your wildest dreams. You have it. You may not be experiencing it right now, but you have it. Having and experiencing are two different things. An easy way to explain it is that you have the ability to fly a plane or surf a wave or go scuba diving, but you may not have experienced this aspect of your ability. In our lives, we really are simply shifting our consciousness to experience aspects of ourselves that we already had in a universe that has all that we can possibly wish to have, even that which we have not imagined exists. The quantum field can form an infinite number of shapes and experiences out of it. In fact, it has already done that. The CD, or MP3 file, that you are listening to is just one of those things. The words that you are hearing is just one of those things. The next thought that you will have is yet another of those things. Yet you never predicted you would be experiencing these words. But your desire to find such words has caused them to come into your experience. Indeed, they have always existed. You need not predict exactly how things will work out. All you need to do is desire, intend, and know it's possible, and it will be arranged to come to you. Many physicists working on subatomic particles are coming to discover several interesting things about our universe. They have, for example, found out that two particles separated by space and time can be invisibly linked to each other and act in synchronicity. They have also found out that the world we live in appears to have been constructed so that it knows itself. This appears to have been done by cutting the one whole into at least two states, with one state designed to see and one to be seen. The one designed to see is then under the illusion of separation from that which is designed to be seen. It is a necessary illusion, a persistent one, but everything is actually one. The whole universe is brought into being by the participation or observation of those who participate and observe. Wealth is brought into existence by you and us looking at it. Your certainty of it, faith, and your attention of it creates it. In reality, it already exists as a probability wave, but you now cause it to be a definite thing, an event in a point in space and time. It goes even deeper than that. It already exists as an event, but your perception of time makes it look away and separate. Once you understand what time is and how it works, you will be able to bring it into your experience faster and in larger amounts.